This podcast is brought to you by Contessa Digital.
The online dating pool is full of pee. I have heard that so many times recently. In fact, I just got back in town from going to the wedding of a client of mine, and it was funny because during this trip, I heard so many women say that they could no longer do online dating because the pool was full of pee. It was just a terrible option. And the thing is, this client's wedding that I just attended, she and her now husband met online. Statistics show that more and more couples are meeting online. It is becoming a much more commonplace thing. So if we're seeing an increase in the number of women getting married after meeting someone online, and online dating has just become more prominent in general, like even Facebook now has a dating feature, then why is it that there are also so many women who swear it doesn't work? That is what I want to talk about today. So welcome to Confidently Cherished. My name is Keshia Rice. I'm a dating coach and hypnotherapist. I help women heal from their unhealthy relationship patterns so that they can attract new, healthy, cherished, loving relationships. And there has been such an increase in so-called femininity coaches slamming online dating, and also them saying that using these apps, using these websites are only for people who are low value or who are desperate. All of this. I find it funny that they are criticizing being online when they are making their money off being online. But let's talk about why some of these coaches and other people in general have these opinions about online dating. Because if you're doing it wrong, then I could totally see why you're having terrible results. And I could also see why you would have the opinions that you do. So we're going to talk about 3 reasons why online dating is a terrible experience for some people and what you can do to improve it. So the first is I am not a fan of online dating per se. I'm a fan of online meeting. What I mean by that is at the end of the day, dating is a numbers game. The best way to find your purpose partner, to find someone who is meant for you, to get the relationship you dream of, is to have a larger pool of candidates to sift through. And online dating facilitates that because you get introduced to men that you would have never met otherwise. But the thing about that is that, one, online dating should not be the only thing in your pool. You still need to go out. You still need to meet people organically, meet people in real life. And I will get to more about why later. But also, when you are dating online, there's more than one app. There's more than one site out there. And again, this is all to give you the bigger pool. Now, once you have the bigger pool, I believe in online meeting. That means that you get introduced to someone that you otherwise would not have met. You have 1 or 2 conversations, and then you take it off the app. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to take yourself off the app. You can stay on there, continue to meet other men, see how things go. But when you make a connection with a man, you should take your conversations with him off the app. You should have 1 or 2 conversations, phone, text after that. And then you need to meet this person in person as soon as possible. Because we can talk all day about discernment, but the truth is that discernment is a lot easier in person than it is using technology. You can't get tone of voice through texting or through app messages. You can't see someone's posture. You can't look at their body language for clues that they're not telling you the truth, or that they're comfortable with you or not comfortable with you. You need to be in person to get these things. It also just incentivizes you not to waste your time, because I have seen untold numbers of women who get on these dating apps and they start meeting men, and maybe they're even chatting with more than one man at a time, which I think is the way to go. But they're overly confident in the fact that they've made these matches, that they're having these conversations, and they turn it into something that it's not. You know, I have seen a few creators lately talk about parasocial relationships, and this idea that you start following someone on social media and you think that you know them or have a close relationship with them than you actually do. I've definitely dealt with that over the past few years. I've had people who follow me on TikTok or Instagram send me DMs. I am sorry, I cannot talk. It was a long flight back. But I've had people send me DMs and want to connect with me more than just beyond the DMs, like even asking for my phone number or wanting me to coach them for free without signing up for my programs, things like that, because they think they know me. And I get it. You know, I do put a fair amount of my life out on social media, but I have boundaries, and there are things that I don't discuss online on purpose. There are things that I would not just randomly talk to my followers about. And there's also just the practical thing of I may spend 10 or 15 minutes a day online. That's a very small part of my day. So therefore, you only know a very small part of my life. And I'm talking about this because I see this with online dating as well, is that women get on apps and start having these conversations and feel like they know the person on the other end of the phone, on the other end of the app, because they're having these conversations throughout the day. But especially if you haven't FaceTimed them or done any sort of video chat, you don't really know what this person looks like. You don't know if the pictures they're sending you are real. Even if you've done that, there's just something about the authenticity of meeting in person. It is a lot easier to fake who you are online. Like, there are all sorts of video filters. You can change your voice. There are all these things you can do. It's even just easier to pretend to be something you're not. It's easier to feel like you're acting when you're online than when you're talking with someone in person. So again, online meeting is great because you should expand your pool. But sticking to dating apps and sticking with one person on an app and having a conversation there for weeks, months at a time is not going to get you anywhere in that relationship. It is just setting you up to have a permanent pen pal. The second reason why you may be struggling with online dating is because you struggle with dating in general. Any issues you have with meeting someone in person, online dating doesn't make them easier. In fact, it only magnifies it. So if you struggle with general communication, you're going to have a harder time having engaging conversations on a dating app. If you struggle with setting boundaries, you're going to have a harder time with apps and other technology for dating, especially because a person will use that as a way to impose. As, okay, you say you don't have a lot of time, you're busy doing this, I understand that, but it doesn't take long to send a quick text message. You can hop on the phone with me for 5 minutes, and they'll start doing that to mess with your boundaries. I know in another episode, I talked about this guy that I dated, and I, at the time, was working night shift. So I would always tell him, like, hey, don't call me after like 7 o'clock because I have to go to bed early for work. And he would say, okay. He would text me, though, like 10 minutes after 7 every time. And at first, I would try to be polite about it. I would message him back and say, hey, it's good to hear from you, but I have to go to bed. Or if I wasn't able to sleep that night for whatever reason, I would go ahead and talk to him until I realized that he was doing this on purpose to test my boundaries. So you have to have these in-person experiences with people so that you can filter quickly, so that you can more easily use your discernment to know it's time to move on. This person isn't serious, or this person doesn't respect me. You will find out those things much more quickly when you are dealing with them in person as opposed to a dating app. You will also improve your social skills and your dating skills and get to better practice being in your feminine energy in person than you will on a dating app. This is why it is so important that online dating is only a part of your dating repertoire. That you are also meeting people in real life, in person, that you are developing a social life, that you are going out, joining things that interest you, finding clubs, sports, whatever it is that allows you to be more social, because it will increase your chances of finding the right partner, but it will also make you better with dating in real life and with dating online. So if you are not on any dating apps yet and you are considering it, I would strongly recommend that before you sign up for an app or sign up for a new app, if you're already on one and think about adding, that you spend some time really assessing your communication skills and doing what you need to work on those. Going to therapy, reading books, listening to podcasts, having better conversations with your friends. Make a point to be intentional about checking in with your friends and seeing how they're doing. That will improve your small talk too. So then when you move over to an app, it translates into you having an easier time meeting and connecting with the right men. Number 3 is not properly setting your expectations. So when it comes to going into this online dating thing, again, dating online can be an amazing way to meet new people. It doesn't mean that the first person that you meet is going to be your husband. Your online dating relationships are not marriage or bust. And if you don't do rotational dating more than one person at a time in real life, when you're online dating, you definitely want to do it, because I'm telling you right now, men are. They are having conversations with more than one woman at a time. And it is very easy also when you're dating online to have one great conversation, put your eggs all in one basket, and then you've gone from having this bigger pool to once again limiting your possibilities. So it's important that with online dating, you have the expectation that anyone you talk to is also talking to other people, that you have the expectation that your time spent, just because you think that you've had one great conversation doesn't mean that a relationship makes. You have to understand that it takes time to build communication. It takes time to build connection, especially when you have the start like this, because even people who enjoy online dating can get skeptical sometimes, and they will meet you, they will like your profile, or they'll match with you, they'll like your profile, they'll like your pictures, but they have some skepticism over whether or not you are who you say that you are. If your pictures are real, if what you're posting about is authentic. And because of that, it creates a little bit of a barrier in connecting with them. So this is, again, why I'm a fan of online meeting, not dating, because you want to take it off the app so that you can build those connections as soon as possible. But also it means that there's this added barrier of trust when you're getting to know someone and you met them off of an app that you don't have when you met them in person, because they already know that you look like the way you say you look like. They've seen you in person. Because you have this added barrier, it takes more time to connect. So you have to allow yourself to be patient. You have to remember that this is building a pool. And you have to remember that instant chemistry is a little bit harder. So you may want to give someone more of a chance. First date doesn't go well unless it's something like he was incredibly rude. You may want to go ahead and have that second date just to see. So these are my reasons for why online dating may be difficult for you and what you can do to make it easier. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. I am on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Keshia Rice, KESHIA RICE. Send me a screenshot of this episode. Let me know what your takeaways are. And let me know if you have any questions about dating online. I do have a course on online dating, but also maybe I can put some of your questions in a future episode. So I will talk to you soon. Love you. Bye. Hey there. So you made it all the way to the end of the episode, which means I have two things to say. One, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And two, you like me. You really like me. So I would appreciate it if you would show that like by subscribing to this podcast so that more people can hear about it and enjoy it as much as you do. And if you want to know more about any of the links that I mentioned on this episode or any guests that I've had, be sure to go to KeshiaRice.com/links. That's KeshiaRice.com/links. I can't wait to talk to you again in the next episode. So see you then.